Hello and welcome to another VanHack success story. I'm Ilya, and today I'm incredibly excited to be with Emerson, who is a senior software engineer at EDP Software in Vancouver. Hi, Emerson.
Hi guys, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm super excited to have you here because I think you have one of the best stories that we have in VanHack and all the different things you've been involved in. From moving, getting a job before you moved to Vancouver to all the different entrepreneurial and kind of freelance and social work that you've been doing. It's definitely really cool. So before maybe we get into all that, maybe you can tell everybody about who you are, where you're from, kind of your career background, and then we'll get into the details.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you about it because I remember first time we talked was like, a dream, and now it's coming true, and this is just awesome. And I can't have words to thank VanHack enough because it was like really life changing to me. But yeah, my background is in software engineering. I'm all this fun stuff, graduation, post graduation, this sort of thing, and usually I do like 10 plus years of experience, which is it's part of the big community that we have. A lot of people has it, so it's kind of interesting. And yeah, I basically started thinking about Canada like 2013, and yeah, a few years later, here I am.
Awesome. And so now you've been in Vancouver for how long?
It's almost 3 months right now, and yeah, like just enjoying the rainy summer. Sorry, the rainy winter, in fact.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward for the summer.
Yeah, definitely. Summer is coming. That's awesome, man. So
Yeah.
I guess I have to ask, like, how has your impressions been in the last couple of months of being in Canada? How is it compared to the reality, what you imagined it to the reality?
Well, that's really interesting. Like when I was in Brazil, I was always thinking that Canadian companies, they are like that I was going to find different cultures, different people, different backgrounds, and it's interesting because it's just like that. It's different. It's awesome in a way. It's kind of hard in the same manner, especially when you are used to do a lot of stuff in your home country. Like you are used to talk to people and they are be able to understand exactly what you're talking. And when you move to a different country, different culture, like sometimes your references don't make sense for them. They don't have the same childhood that you had. So yeah, often they talk among themselves and you don't get it. So this is really interesting. It's like a life lesson and learning every day. And I can just say that this is awesome, but it's quite challenging, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the fun. If it was easy, then yeah.
What's the point, man?
Yeah, no, but that's really cool. And I guess another, let's get into the job search, because I think that's really the exciting thing here is like, and maybe actually instead of like starting with your current job, maybe we can talk a little bit about something that's I think unique about you and versus most other Van Hackers is that you were actually able to get kind of a remote job, two remote jobs before you even moved to Vancouver. So maybe talk about like, how was your experience when you joined VanHack, how those opportunities came about, what they were, and then how that helped you leverage into your current opportunity.
Sure. Yeah, it was pretty much like you just said. It's interesting because I can say that I had the what we could call the happy path. And it's like, yeah, the first time we talked about, I remember saying to you, hey man, I want to join something in Canada, whether it is a non-profit or something. And then turns out that we have one in VanHack, which is the Beaners project. Right now, I'm participating locally in the project, which
oh, cool. Have you met Anna? And
yeah, yes,
really? Oh, man, I didn't know
yeah.
that. That's so cool. It gives me goosebumps. That's so cool.
Yes,
Wow.
I'm here. I know all the guys now in person.
All
Yeah,
the dinners too.
I'm helping them.
Oh,
In
man.
fact, they hire another developer
Yeah.
like full-time developer, which is
Yeah.
great. You know, it's just going to drive the project further.
Wow.
And yeah, we are excited about it. But
That's awesome.
I started in this project. The I I believe it was January of 2016, like
Mhm.
more than a year ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my main path to aim to Canada, to start to understand the culture.
Hmm.
Like I want to get in touch with some company, even if, as I said, even if it's a non-profit organization. And Beaners was like a very big opportunity for me to learn, and it was due to your contacts and VanHack. And after that, we engaged a different one, a non-profit also, the Latin Cover project. I'm still running with them also. And yeah, after that, I just found a full-time job in Canada, like a few months later. And the crazy part about the job search for me was like, before having the decision that, okay, I'm going to Canada, I have my open work permit. It was interesting to try finding jobs. I did a good number of interviews. Like I did interview for Bandai, for Nerds on Site, for, oh man, I forgot the name of other companies, but I did for a big number of companies. And the interesting parts, like they have interest in the profile, but since I wasn't allowed to work in Canada, we couldn't move the process to the hiring part.
Hmm.
But yeah, that in a way that drives me to be more confident. And then I started thinking, okay, how can I get my open work permit? And uh, that's kind of crazy, because the day I talked to my wife, hey, let's go. This is let's do it in January 2017. And it may sound like cliche, but literally the day we decided, okay, we have this plan in place, it's going to be January, I went to Slack and I found a job in the very same day. Yeah, it was crazy, because the guy looked at my profile, he looked at all my information, and he said, like, with all the words, like, don't send your curriculum anymore, we're gonna hire you. And that's just insane. It kind of blows my mind. It
Wow.
was back in September last year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's we was postponing this final decision, because we can always expect, we can try to expect what could be the perfect path, which is, for example, the old LMIA path. Like, if a company could provide me an LMIA, I didn't need to come in here with an open work permit, and it should be totally different.
Hmm.
But yeah, that didn't happen. It just happened to very few
Hmm.
professionals,
Hmm.
which is good in a way, because it kind of push you to continue improving. You can you is always going to be better the next day if you continue to look to your objective,
Hmm.
to your main goal. And yeah, that's pretty much how I find my job that I'm currently working,
Hmm.
and my path. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really cool, man. Wow. The same day. I want to hit on two things. First off, as you mentioned Slack. So you were in the YVR Dev Slack, right? Is that's the one you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Cool. So for everyone who doesn't know, there's a bunch of different Slack groups, and if you just go to vanhack.com/Slack, we have a blog post about it with the links to all these groups where like developers or tech communities hang out online in different cities like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, etc. So you can actually virtually be chatting to other people, companies, recruiters in those Slack groups before you even get there. And of course, VanHack Premium, we have our own Slack group, and also the Van Hackathon has a Slack group. So, and Slack is from Vancouver, so it's all just
Yeah.
a great thing. So maybe talk about how like you use those groups to kind of network virtually before being there in person.
Yeah, I was talking about VanHack. Slack is the main communication for the company I'm working
Yeah.
in. And this is kind of contradictory because we are like 100% Microsoft company. I mean, you know, we also use Skype for it, but Slack, I don't know why. It's probably because it's easier. It's more simple to use in a way. And this is the main communication channel that we have. And yeah, I started using Slack in 2015, and this is just awesome. Anyway, this is just a very good tool. And yeah, every time you connect to someone, it is in my experience, I always try to return with something, and that is always, at least in my experience, it's proving to be really profitable for all the parts. You know, it's not just up to what you want; it's more up to what we can do better together. So this is just working. And for example, we have a very good relation, and this is probably because, you know, I'm not just taking some information. I'm also helping community and, you know, helping with the best that I can. So
definitely that idea of give to get, give first is super true, especially when you're looking for an opportunity for a job. So let's talk about the job interview where actually first a quick thing is you mentioned the LMA process. For anyone who's watching this before June 2017, there's going to be some changes happening in the LMA process in Canada. So this way that you went to Canada with your wife studying and you having open work permit, and this kind of is no longer going to be like the best way to go to Canada. It'll be through this new fast track visa. Stay tuned. If you're watching this after, you already know all the details, and you probably, we probably will have other videos about it. We definitely will have other videos about it. Anyway, so just kind of a quick thing on that. But the point is, what I want to ask about was like how your current interview, like the job you had, how that interview process was. Was it a phone call, a coding test? Kind of was it like just the standard thing? Was there anything people should watch out for and kind of learn from?
Oh yeah, it was totally different from the Brazilian regular process. Like I remember the job before that one was like, you know, a very informal conversation in a coffee house, and like, I don't know, 1 hour talking, and we are done, you know. But was totally different. At least I just have this experience being successful. But it was almost 6 hours of interviewing in total. It was 6 interviews, and they was like I grouped them as basically 4 hours of business background, personal background, personal conversations. You know, like I talked to one of the senior staff they have. Then in the next hour, I talked to the HR again. The other hour, I talked to the IT director, and then I talked to the CEO, and then I start doing technical tests, which was 2 hours of the entire process.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like it took about 1.5 months to complete the process. But it's interesting because they have a very solid way to measure if you are going to fit or not. And yeah, it's extensive. I mean, it's not boring at all because you are talking about something that you love, which is you know, and not just that, but you are talking about your experiences. They are going to talk. They are going to ask you about how do you spend your free time, this sort of thing. Not just because they want to know exactly, for example, what you do on Saturdays. No, this is not important. This is not the point. It's more like how your mind creates knowledge, and how open or how drive are you to new knowledges. For example, if you are open to create new sort of mindsets, this is in my experience, in my opinion, this is what they are looking for. You know? They're trying to understand how good you are at it. I'm not saying that everyone should have that mindset, you know, because, you know, not everyone can be the creative person and this crazy person, but often what they are looking is for that sort of people. So
right.
yeah. In my case, was exactly like that. Often it's interesting because yesterday was the first day I drove a training session in the company.
Cool.
Like we put all the developers inside a room, and I start talking with them with my not so good English yet, but
English
it's
is getting better.
improving. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. And but it's like it's awesome, different experiences. And past Friday was my first demo to the entire company. Like we have this very agile culture, like sprints and stand-up meetings every day. I have one today at 10, so I have to be a company before at 10 or at least attend online. But this is the culture that I'm inserted in today.
Cool.
And yeah, it's just I can just say that it has been awesome, and I plan to have more great experiences in here. And
Yeah, amazing,
it's
amazing.
awesome.
Cool. Well, I only have two more questions just to wrap up here. So, talking about great experiences, when you arrived to Canada, you also got an entrepreneurial experience with a local business person. Maybe talk a little about that and how that's going, and kind of yeah.
Oh, sure, definitely. Yeah, interesting enough, you did a new connection to me, which is kind of crazy. It's a professional here in Vancouver, really talented one, and we are talking about some sort of entrepreneurial idea. And yeah, it was a connection that started in October the last year. And interestingly, we started drawing some ideas and started the project, and now it's almost becoming true. It's probably going to be in June of this year. We are going to have the version 1.0. But yeah, that's not the point. It's just we connected through VanHack, and it's awesome. It's I can say to you that really, and I mean that, like VanHack really changed my life. Like not just as I told you, not just by the community, but the way it teaches me how to connect with companies and how to be better prepared. And it's just, yeah, it's awesome.
That's cool. That's really good to hear. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm hoping now, it's just the beginning, and there's other things that you get to do and explore, and yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sure.
Cool.
That's life, right?
Cool. Yeah, that's life. And I guess that leads me to the last thing, which is, what advice do you have for someone who maybe is in your shoes, where you were in 2013, almost 4 years ago, thinking about maybe getting a job, not necessarily in Canada, but just generally abroad? What would you share with that person and kind of help them out with?
Okay. Yeah. To be really, really honest with you, if I had the knowledge that I have today, back 2013, I'll probably go for a different path. I wouldn't wait too much for that. Just I got really well prepared. I had my savings, which is kind of backing me up. But like sometimes you just have to go for it. And I'm not saying that you don't need to be prepared. You have to be prepared. You have to have your back plan, even not just a B plan, but like a C plan. You have to have options. But yeah, I'll say to you guys, like if you want to come to Canada or even a different country, it's probably going to depend to rely only your willingness. It's just your wish to go. And there's no one that's going to do anything for you. Like there's nothing someone can do to put knowledge in your head, and especially to put an idea in your mind. I try to follow 100% of all VanHack's ideas. For example, I changed my wallpaper in my computer. I spend about 10 to 12 hours every day in my computer, rather coding or studying. Or even I don't have a TV. I use my computer for entertainment. So this is pretty much what I do. And every time that I look at it, I see, oh, this is my goal. This is what I need to do. And probably a good advice would be, if you really want that, to try to be focused. You can do that. I wish I could have done that like in 1 year or 1.5 years, but it took me more. So yeah, maybe if I were more focused in the past, so maybe this is the best piece of advice that I can give you guys. So be focused, try to stick to your plan as best as you can, because yeah, as I told you, in the end of the day, there is nothing that's going to happen if you don't do it. VanHack was a really life-changing experience, but I mean, if it wasn't for, like, I'm keep saying that, like, I feel that I am much a talker. So every time that I start in a project, I go for something, I show myself. I ask for responsibility. Every time I say, okay, how can I do better? How can I help you move continually improving? How can I help? In fact, and this is, I believe this is the best advice that I can give. Be focused and try to do your best.
That's
Which
awesome.
is kind of a cliche, but I can say it works, man. It works.
Yeah. No, the cliches are true. It's true. And I would especially say that for anyone who is like really wants to go to Canada, now is the time with this new visa coming out. I mean, we'll see the details if you're watching this again before June. We'll see the details, but like, get ready. And there's other places like Dublin or Berlin or Amsterdam that you could literally just go to, and then getting a job, the visa is not a problem. So go for it. I think is definitely something that people need to hear, because I think a lot of times they are really comfortable, maybe a little bit nervous, and maybe do like a trip, see how it is, and then make the big leap. So awesome, Emerson. Listen, I am super proud of you. You got 4 jobs with us. I think that's a record. So congratulations on that. 4 jobs through VanHack, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And most importantly, you're now full-time employed as a software engineer in Vancouver. So congratulations on reaching your dream. And I guess if you're watching this, please subscribe to the video if you want to get more content like this, more success stories, more awesome tips and help. And if you want any more information about VanHack and our jobs that open to sponsoring visas, everything is just below here in the YouTube video notes. And Emerson, I know we've talked a lot, and we haven't met in person. And when I get back home to Vancouver, we'll definitely have some beers and
for sure. Yeah. Look forward to that.
Fantastic. Awesome, man. Thanks so much for sharing your experience here with us.
Thank you for your time, Ilya.
Awesome.
Have a nice day, man.